most important is your commitment to understanding yourself. Hello, you guys. My name is Nkirika Madani, known as NK, and welcome back to Misunderstood. Coming to you live once again from the CoverGirl studio. I love that I've gotten to come into the space every month so far since April. The girls here are so nice, always give me a goodie bag, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity. Right now, I have on the Jelly Water Tint from CoverGirl. It is Watermelon Splash. It smells like watermelon, which is amazing. I've been using it as a lip tint, but I literally just put it on as a cheek tint, and it's such a pretty pink flush. And for me, I love a nice pink flush, especially in the summer. Before we get started, please remember to rate Misunderstood 5 stars on Apple, Spotify, wherever you are listening. I love that you guys also love this podcast. It is a safe space for me. It is a space where I can really lean into myself and in turn share experiences and tips and advice that I know is already helping so many people. It makes me so proud that I have this medium, and what you can do as a listener of the show is rate the show 5 stars. That helps so much with the exposure of this podcast. So take some time right now to rate the show. Thank you so much. Your space is sacred. Today, I really want to discuss the ways in which your environmental, your bodily, and your digital space is sacred. I think a lot of times we take for granted our peace, and we take for granted the things that life has offered us, our circumstances have offered us, that make us feel calm and make us feel grounded. I know I have wanted to go back in time and really pull from a few experiences I've had recently, as well as some experiences I have had long in the past, to really emphasize why you need to take hold of your space, whichever space you want to treat this as. Covet it. Enjoy it, take care of it, lean in it, own it. It is your space and you get to do what you want with it. Earlier this year, I wrote down some feelings I had been feeling about living in my current New York City apartment. If you are new here, if you have never met me before online, this is your first time coming across me, hello and welcome. But I have been on the internet for a while. I've been doing social media for 5 years now, and specifically on YouTube, I've shared a lot about my journey in New York City, living in New York City. In 2025, I set out to really cultivate this apartment, and I really wanted to make it feel more homey. My very first New York City apartment back in 2023, it was a good apartment for what it was, but I know that I didn't feel super connected to it. Therefore, I didn't actively try to make it a space that I wanted to lean into and really foster a space that I love. So I wrote something, a little journal entry about my current apartment. I wrote this in April of 2025 when I had just finished cultivating my space to a place that I really was proud of. And I want to also preface, it took me an entire year to get the apartment to where it is now. I moved in April 2024. Just my thoughts about how I've been feeling in the apartment. So this is the first of 3 segments we're going to talk about today on this episode. I just finally finished decorating my New York City apartment. If you know, you know, but this project has taken quite literally 1 whole year to put together. And I'm standing here right now looking around. I have a view of the Empire State Building. It's red right now, if anyone's curious. But I'm looking around tonight, looking around the apartment and looking at everything I've cultivated in this apartment. And it just truly dawned on me. It truly just clicked in my brain that I could not have the apartment look like this if I was living with a significant other, even if I was living with roommates. I could not have my apartment, my space, looking exactly the way it does right now. And I absolutely understand this is such a privilege to live on your own at all. But I think the privilege gets taken up a few notches when you live by yourself in Manhattan. And I'm so proud of everything I've done to get here and to be able to give myself this lifestyle and provide for myself in this way. And it really, really clicked just now as I'm looking around the apartment, seeing everything that I so carefully crafted, seeing one whole year of work put into making this apartment be so cozy, a happy, loving space that is my safest space. I could only do this because of me. So please remember that your space is sacred. And this applies to anybody. This doesn't have to be just you living on your own. Any space that you call your space, even if you share an apartment, even if you share a home, you do have a portion of that space that is in fact yours. So that is what I'm talking about. This is what you should focus on. Focus on cultivating your space exactly how you want it. For me right now, color was my biggest priority in this apartment. My first New York City apartment was all neutral, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with neutral. But I have to say, I was really scared of dipping my toe into color because once we get into furniture and the bigger dollar items that you can't return, or they have really strange policies on returns, it just gets a little more dicey. And also, if you can return it, just think about trying to return a huge sofa that you actually don't like in terms of color, texture, feel, and how it fits in the apartment. Just think about the stress of that. Yeah, no one wants that. So I took time. I took my sweet time and I cultivated a space that all of the little trinkets and all of the little fun items that make it me, that give it personality, add depth to the space. And I love it. And I want you to love your space too, because your space is sacred. That is how my brain works, first of all. I am such a string of consciousness type of person. Reading that back, all of that still holds true. I'm really happy that I invested in my space. A lot of people will tell you very differing opinions about your space. A lot of people might say, oh, well, you're just in a little apartment. Why do you feel like you need to decorate it? You should decorate it if you want to decorate it. You should decorate it because that is where you're going to lay your head, and that is where you can escape from other stressors in the world. That is where you should relax. That is where you recharge. It is so important to make sure your space is what you want it to be. And yes, we can have a conversation about budget, and we can have a conversation about all of the extremities that come with actually cultivating a space. But let's start with intention. Your space needs to be intentional to you. I love a good Pinterest board, and I love, love, love going on Pinterest and just finding pretty things to get inspiration. But my space will never look exactly like my Pinterest board, and I don't want it to. That Pinterest board was made by a girl somewhere in the world that had her own intention about her space, and she brought it to life. It's about how we bring our visions to life. And there's so many factors about your space that are really personal also. No one can tell you what looks good and what looks bad. That's an opinion. That's not fact. The facts are what you allow into your space. And I do want to touch on where you're actually living. This is outside of the actual home or the actual apartment or the actual condo, wherever you're physically living. This is about where geographically you are living. I took the leap to move to New York City. 2.5 years later, I'm here to say I am absolutely better for it. I was able to really understand myself on such a vital level for my mental health, for my emotional well-being, but also in my professional endeavors, and really expanded as a person because I chose to take myself to a space geographically that helped me grow up, that helped me mature, that helped me find my potential. New York is that energetic city for me. And we all have one, okay? We all have a place in the world that makes us feel something different than the everyday. New York is that for me, even though I've had a lot of ups and downs here, more than anywhere I've had in my entire life. This is the place that I feel the most alive. And you need to go where you feel alive, and you need to go where you feel something deep in your soul. I am a very emotional person. I always have been. And I find that there's so many moments in New York City that I'm literally just tearing up. actually tearing up as I'm saying this right now because New York is sacred to me. It's not even just my apartment. It's the fact that I get to be in a city like this, in a city that makes me feel like I can do anything. I knew I was always meant for more, and New York City gives me that. I can literally be anywhere in the world, though. That's the thing. I could travel anywhere in the world, and I have traveled to so many places in the world so far, and I'm so thankful for that. But New York City is very sacred to me because it was the first place I fell in love with my surroundings. It's the first place that I felt like I was capable of doing anything. So I ask you, where is that place for you? And only you can answer that. Social media is not going to tell you it. Trust me, you have to physically go there on your own. When I came here in 2021 by myself, I literally took a solo trip to Miami and New York. And so New York was the second stretch of that trip. And I was walking on the Brooklyn Bridge. I got all the way to the Brooklyn side. I turned around. You see the skyline of Manhattan from the Brooklyn side on the Brooklyn Bridge. And I started crying. This was at 8 a.m. on a Wednesday. People were asking if I was okay. I said, yes, I'm okay. But in my heart, I knew that that was the day I fell in love with New York. And that was the day I knew that no matter what, I'm going to get myself here. And here we are 4 years later, 2.5 years into living here. And you have to go find the places that light you up. It's really important to the development of who you are. And we will definitely be talking about New York in a few other capacities in future episodes coming up here soon. But for this episode, I just want to say that the city and the town, wherever you're living, has a huge impact on how you feel every day. So if you're suppressing that feeling, please don't. I know what I'm saying is easier said than done, but make a plan if you don't feel that way about where you are. And like I said, there's so many factors that contribute to how you feel about a place. There's relationships and a community, your job, the surroundings, your living situation, so many different things. But what I want to leave you here with for this segment is listening to your heart when it comes to your environment and where you live. Secondly, I want to talk about your digital space. Your digital space is something that a lot of people don't realize is actually sucking energy out of you. Our brains absorb everything that we are scrolling on social media and looking at. We're on our computers, we're on TV, scrolling and absorbing, and it's a lot. Your subconscious is taking all of it in, but is all of it good for you? First off, no, not all of it is good for you. And yeah, there's a lot of things that you might see by force. For example, Love Island. This is a hot take. I already know this, but that's okay. I can stand in my own takes because it is my own opinion. I do not watch the show. That's not something I'm interested in. Here's the thing, social media, I can't escape it. I am fed this information by force at this point as I'm scrolling. And so I find that I need to start to actively limit certain things that I am seeing. And that is on me to limit that. It is on you to re-engineer what you're seeing on social. How do you do this? There are so many different ways. I go through accounts that I know that I'm not aligned with. If I'm not aligned with an account, I will not follow it. A little niche topic that I don't think I've ever brought up anywhere, who I follow on social media. I don't follow a lot of people. I keep that very limited. It's interesting because a lot of people have tried to use that as a slight to me that, oh, she doesn't like following a lot of people on social media. Let's just clear it up right now. You know why? Is because I only follow accounts that make me feel good. I only follow accounts I'm interested in. And if I haven't come across an account that I'm interested in, that's why I'm not following them. Also, the most important thing, I don't even have to explain myself. This is something that I've wanted to talk about because a lot of people like to equate people not following a lot of people on social media as they think that they're stuck up and they think that they're too good for social media or too good to have mutuals and things like that. Nope. That's actually not true at all. That's an assumption. Let's just clear that up. The reason why I don't follow a lot of people on social media is because I know that a lot of things that I have consumed in the past have actually been really negative and just haven't made me feel good, have made me feel insecure, have made me feel some type of way. And we're all entitled to feeling a type of way. That's okay. but I'm not going to make that anyone's problem. I'm just going to stay in my lane. Okay. I'm not going to make a scene. I'm just going to quietly exit. There's no need to be following a ton of people just because you're following them. Let's actually go back in time. Think about the people from middle school, high school, college. You know, and I know that we don't like them. We don't like them for our own very valid reasons, our own very valid experiences we've had with them. I like to say social media is not for your friends. Social media is for you to express yourself how the hell you want. And we all get to express ourselves how we want. If you don't like it, that's okay. Exits over there. No one's forcing you. No one's asking you to be here. The people who want to be here are going to be here. The people who don't want to, you can just exit. You don't even have to say a peep. No one will know the difference. But when people try to make other people feel bad about who they follow on social media or things like that, that pisses me off to no end. I'm just here to say, your digital space is your own. You don't have to justify who you follow. You really only should be following people who make you feel good, okay? Because our subconscious, as I already mentioned, that affects you way more than you think. There's been so many years of my life that when I started social media that I fell victim to this. I followed a lot of people on social media that internally, every time I was scrolling, I felt a literal gut reaction of, I don't like this. I don't like how I feel when I'm looking at this person's content. Something feels wrong. If something feels wrong, eliminate the problem. Why aren't we just eliminating the problem and moving on? Your digital space is your own. Treat it strict. Be strict. Be strict on social media. You don't owe anybody an explanation for how you choose to use social media and what you choose to consume. So recapping, we're going to remove the people who do not make us feel good. We are also going to block anybody who crosses the line. And I've said this in a previous episode. The line is where you draw it. No one can tell you how to justify any of those actions. Limit your screen time. This is one of the best things that has happened to me in 2025. I have limited my screen time. You can literally go into your iPhone settings and set a timer on the social media apps that you consume. I think I have an hour timer, which honestly, now that I'm saying that, I should probably lower it because an hour is actually kind of a lot when you think about it in a day-to-day. I also want to say there's many times that I have ignored my limit. I am human, but having the limit is helpful because seeing it disrupts that subconscious constant feed of social media. When it comes up, then I clock it as, all right, this is a gentle nudge that I've been on social media a little too long. Let me pivot. When I see it, I usually pivot to something else. I literally actively put my phone down and walk away, go to the kitchen, go outside. I do something else. Limiting your screen time will really help you with your digital reset. And then lastly, go on Do Not Disturb. So this goes outside of social media apps. This is just your phone in general. Limit the access to you. And let's just clear up any confusion here and now, and let's get ahead of any assumptions that people will most likely have. Going on Do Not Disturb, if that bothers someone else, then they are the problem. I said it because it's true. I'll tell you why I go on Do Not Disturb, and my Do Not Disturb is literally on around the clock. It's always on. I go on Do Not Disturb mostly because of work reasons. When I'm filming something, and this has happened before I did Do Not Disturb, I'm filming something. If a call comes through, it disrupts the work I'm literally doing. Then I have to start over. If I'm recording a voiceover, it will interrupt it. Insert anything here. If I'm doing anything work related for social media, any incoming call, incoming text, that will disrupt the flow of everything. And I'm a very disciplined person when it comes to my work, and that is why we're sitting here today and why I have accomplished as much as I've done so far, is because I'm disciplined. And being on Do Not Disturb is me showing myself that I can be disciplined. I won't get distracted by outside factors that I can't control. If a call comes in, if a text comes in, if an email comes in, if I'm working, that is the highest priority right now, and everything can wait. Yes, obviously, if there's an emergency situations come through, we're not talking about that because an emergency does not happen every day. We are talking about day-to-day living and day-to-day interactions and how to make sure that my sphere, your sphere, remains sacred, remains a space that is uplifting and comforting and productive. This is your life. No one just gets access to your life 24/7. Hello? And if anybody makes you feel uncomfortable about being on Do Not Disturb, that is a straight conversation that needs to be had. And maybe that person's not a true friend, a true person, an ally that should be in your life. It's just something to consider. When you set a boundary, and if other people are uncomfortable about you setting that boundary, one, they were benefiting from you not having that boundary, and two, that says more about how they feel about you than anything, and that should be addressed. And number three, let's talk about your bodily space. There's a few things that we're going to talk about here. We're talking about who has access to your body. We're talking about how you can take care of your body and how you treat yourself. I first want to cover hookups, hookup culture. Personally, I am not a girl who's into hookup culture. But I'm also here to say I've been a part of hookup culture in the past, but that's just not where I'm at right now. Anybody can do whatever they want with their body, bodily autonomy. You do you, be safe, have fun. However, I want to talk about this in specific. I've actually been in situations in the past where guys have made me feel as though I need to put out and I need to give them access to me in that way, because they're giving me attention. And that is one big hell no. No guy, no person gets access to my body without my consent. In the future episodes, we will definitely talk more and more about sex and hookups and situations with guys that I've definitely learned from in the past. But what I want to say right now is if you've been in a situation where you have been pressured or have been made to feel guilty for not giving a guy or whoever what they want in a sexual way, in an intimate way, that absolutely needs to be escalated. You need to find a safe space, a safe person. That can get very, very scary and very uncomfortable. And here on Misunderstood, I'm here for you. I want to help. I want to be a safe space for anybody to talk about a situation you may have had in the past in regards to this. I know I have had my fair share. And if you want to talk about a situation like this, and if you want any advice, definitely utilize our jot form. It is in the description of every single podcast episode. It is anonymous. No one will ever know it's you. Feel free to share. And I look forward to hearing from you guys in the future. Next, I want to talk about health checkup. As women, we have been through it with the system, and the system has told us what we need to do with our bodies. And also, we've gone through people not believing us when we say that something's wrong, when we bring up something is wrong. So I'm here to say a little big sister advice, or if you're the same age, just some advice, some very vital advice that I wish I heard a lot sooner, but I'm happy that I'm implementing this in my life currently. Get your health checkups, STD screenings, blood panels, lipid panels, annual checkup at the doctor, gynecologist. If you feel like you might be pregnant, make sure to take a pregnancy test immediately. These are things that I know so many people get scared of talking about, right? But here's the thing, we are girls and we need to feel a little more comfortable talking about these type of topics because this is our life. We are the ones who are experiencing these things. And if we don't talk about it, then no one will feel like it's safe to bring things up. This podcast is meant to be a safe space for anybody who needs comfort and needs help and needs guidance for certain things like this. And I already know I haven't talked much about this realm on the podcast yet, but I emphasize yet because on this podcast, there's really nothing that I intend to not cover. I want this to literally capture all facets of life because that is what makes it the most real and authentic to you and I. So back to health checkups. If you feel run down or if you can't pinpoint an issue, if you feel like something's wrong in your body, don't suppress it. Write it down, make a doctor's appointment. When you write it down, you're able to advocate for yourself the best way you can. You're able to pinpoint on this day, at this time, I was experiencing this. These are all the feelings I had towards this, and this is what I'm feeling in my body. This is where I'm feeling it in my body. Point to it, understand it, know it. Because I never want you to be in a situation where a doctor tries to gaslight you. I've been gaslit by many doctors. When a doctor tries to gaslight you and tries to tell you, you're fine, nothing's wrong, when no, actually something was wrong and they didn't listen. The more prepared you are, the less bullshit you're going to face. Also, if you feel like you might have a deficiency in iron, insert anything here. There's so many things that are going on in our bodies that we might not even know. I recommend getting a blood test, getting a lipid panel. I've gotten these before. These are the things that we literally cannot see and we do need to run tests to see what exactly is going on, and it'll help give you more insight and reassurance. Now let's talk about what you put into your body. So I'm talking nutrition. I've definitely been on a journey with both eating and my fitness. So let's talk about eating for a second. I have found just through growing up by becoming more and more of a woman, my metabolism has changed. My body physically has looked so different in the last few years. And honestly, that's just on growing up. There's been so many times where I felt really uncomfortable and really self-conscious about how I've looked in many different times of my life. But now that I'm growing up and older and more mature, I'm able to recognize that that is a part of growing up. Your body will change. We get periods, and during our periods, we are going to bloat and we're going to look different than what we would look like in the other times of the month. You're going to gain weight. You're going to lose weight. You are going to go through changes in your body. What I can say through my experience is when I started eating really, really clean, I noticed so many things happen for the better. I leaned out. I honestly have lost like 15 pounds in the last 6-7 months. And it's not about the weight because I have never been one to really pinpoint, oh, I need to be smaller or whatever. No. Even though every single time I go to the doctor's office, I am told that I'm overweight. Okay, so I just want you to sit with that because I'm absolutely not overweight, but you know how backwards and how outdated the BMI system is. The doctors still go off of that. So my BMI is actually higher than the average for my weight and my height. I'm a little 5'4" girl, but I have a lot of muscle. I grew up playing sports for 10, 11 years. I grew up an athlete. At a very young age, did strength training. That has molded my body from the get-go, really. From those pivotal years where your body is actually forming into an adult, I gained a lot of muscle at a very young age, and that has truly just stayed with me. That's probably really never going to go anywhere because that's just how my body is now composed. Let's go back to eating. I definitely eat very clean now. However, I am all about balance. I have always said, if I want a cookie, I'm going to eat a damn cookie. I love chocolate chip cookies, but I cook most of my meals. I don't really eat out that much. I actually treat eating out as a treat, a luxury. Living in New York City, that actually has been a little hard sometimes, and that has actually made me feel not super connected in that way to the city because I live in New York City, the place where you can literally get any type of food in the world, but I don't eat out very much. I cook most of my meals at home, but that makes me feel more balanced and that makes me feel more grounded. But don't get me wrong, when I go out with my friends, I'm going to eat whatever I want and I will not bat an eye. But on my day-to-day, the fact that I've committed to cleaner eating, I am leaner because of it. My skin is the clearest it's ever been, the most glowing it's ever been as well because of what I'm putting into my body, because of what I'm actually consuming. And then talking about being active, let's talk about fitness. I've been on a fitness journey as well. I have definitely changed the way I work out in a lot of aspects. So I already mentioned I grew up an athlete, then I had a major surgery, then I started doing a lot more stationary workouts like strength training, some HIIT workouts, some workout classes. But then I found that my body was looking very bulky and personally I did not love that. So then I definitely lessened my strength training. I still incorporate it at least once a week, but not as much as I used to do. And I converted to being a runner. It's just kind of funny I'm saying it right now because right now I have an injury and I cannot run at this time, but I am still a runner. I committed to that at the end of 2024. I have run 2 half marathons. Running makes me feel very good. And also running has leaned me out the most from any other workout I've ever done. Running is now my safe space. It is where I feel really connected to my body. I feel so in tune. It's me, my Brooks running shoes and my AirPods against the world. It is the most electric feeling. And I want to say here, please do the workouts that make you feel good, make your body feel good. Don't force yourself to run if you don't like running. If you avidly hate running and you really don't see yourself doing it, don't do it. Just don't force yourself to. If you don't like Pilates, don't take a Pilates class. If you love walking, walk, and maybe even try to challenge yourself to walk 10K steps a day, walk different routes so that you are seeing new things and you are staying motivated to continue to move your body in the way that makes you feel good. Overall, it's really, really important to take care of all of your spaces, your bodily space, your environmental space, your digital space, and to make it a safe space to be in. It is your space. It is sacred. You are in charge of. No one can tell you how to cultivate your space. No one can tell you how to be in your space. Your space is yours. Please take care of it. And with that, thank you so much for listening to another episode of Misunderstood. Please remember to rate the show 5 stars and follow it on Apple and Spotify. Join our Geneva group chat. It is always linked in the description of every single podcast episode. Hang out with me on my other socials, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and Pinterest at NK Madani. And I will talk to you guys in my next one.